I want to encourage you with so much love to let go of this procrastination self-sabotage tool known as perfectionism that you are allowing to hold you back. Be satisfied with 80% of what you could achieve as being good enough, and you getting very clear on what the sweet spot is for you to occupy within your business so that you can take your impact to the next level. If you have a business that doesn't run well when you are away, you are the problem. That's it. That's my whole answer. I think we should probably also discuss what it is that we do about it. But this is a leadership issue. The thing though that we do need to acknowledge is that you're not alone in this. We all face this as our businesses grow, or maybe we're moving along tickety boo, and all of a sudden we've taken over a project, and when we step away from that project, it starts to fall apart. Or you hand that project to a key team member, and when they step away, things start to fall apart. So it's not just about you, but it is about recognizing when that happens, and rather than justifying it away, really stepping in and going, okay, what kind of systems do I need to have in place? What kind of leadership do I need to have in place, and what kind of leverage do we need to have? What kind of redundancy is going to be important so that we can have some ebb and flow in terms of who is responsible for what at any given moment. So if you have a business where when you step away, things start to fall apart, we need to make sure that we don't transfer that same type of leadership style or that same type of problem creation into the culture of your business at large. So this is about having systems of redundancy. It's about having standard operating procedures, and it's about really identifying where you are most needed, so that you're working in your secret sauce space, and we plan around those times that you're going to be able to step back. Yeah, the summer is a great time to get focused on your business. This is the time so that we've got the engine tuned up, so we hit the fall and ready to go. So it's a great question, because far too many people, they're just so burnt out by the time they get to the summer that they just said, like, I'm not going to do anything. I'll just look at everything again in September. And then suddenly in September, they're trying to build their business, and they're trying to deploy on the busiest time of year all at once, and then we start the cycle again. So the summer's a time to really do some strategic work, to clean up those operations, to get clear on what your priorities are as you move into the fall, and to know what that is really going to require that you, as the leader in your business, know what your most proximate priority is in your business. Do you need to free up your time? Do you need to drive more revenue? Is usually a really great question to start with as we are starting to triage where you need to move next. The need to earn your time off is totally a mindset piece, and it all revolves around this idea of worthiness. And when we really come back to it, and I would see this all the time in practice when people would sabotage their ability to get well, or we get caught in these two like foundational mindsets that people get stuck in is, I'm not lovable, or I am not worthy. And so if we're asking the question around, how do I earn my rest? How do I earn my break? I want to put you right back into a seat that I know you're probably quite confident in, which is to be the clinician. What would you do if you had a patient who came in and said, I've got to earn my rest. I've got to earn that break. I've got to earn that burger, so I'm going to go running for 10 kilometers. You'd sit them down. You'd have a conversation around the fact that they are actually worthy of really good health right now. They don't have to earn any of those pieces. And so I'm going to turn the table on this and really invite you to step into that essence of leadership for yourself. You are the most important asset in your business. And when you are exhausted, and when you are run down, and when you are overworked, and when you're filming way too many YouTube videos in any one given day, you're not going to be at your best for your business and your team and your patients and your dreams and your kids and your partners and all of these people who are counting on you and cheering for you. They all want you at your best. So you are worthy of that piece. You need to stop second guessing, and you need to step into the energy of that powerful person who's going to make all of these dreams come true. There is an art to delegation for sure. The mindset of I'm scared that somebody's not going to do it as well as me is also based in fact. people are probably not going to do it as well as you. But that old adage that if you want to go quickly, go alone, and if you want to go far, you're going to have to work as a team is entirely true. You cannot grow a larger business without learning how to delegate. I would argue you can't even manage a family without learning how to delegate unless you are totally okay in your standards of life at compromising yourself in the process. So if you want a really great resource on this, I highly recommend Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time. He'll give you actual formulas in there in terms of what is your time worth and playbooks on how to assign responsibilities to somebody else on your team. But delegation is a leadership skill that accompanies people who are having really big impact in the world. So I want to encourage you with so much love to let go of this procrastination self-sabotage tool known as perfectionism that you are allowing to hold you back. Be satisfied with 80% of what you could achieve as being good enough, and you getting very clear on what the sweet spot is for you to occupy within your business so that you can take your impact to the next level. Stepping back from the day-to-day piece takes planning. It takes an awareness of where areas where you're going to feel resistance and friction and wanting to step back, an awareness of where you're going to want to maintain control. And before you step back, and I'm laying this foundation because it's easy for me to say this is a mindset issue, you just need to hand it off and train them and out you should go. The reality is that doesn't always work. I've had team members who I tried to do that. I just tried to step back, and they're the kind of person who needed everything laid out step by step, or they needed acknowledgement and they needed reinforcement, or any number of reasons. And so the first piece, if you want to step out of day to day, is you need to acknowledge what kind of team member you need to have around you. So I need people who are, for all intents and purposes, quick starts. They need a little bit of information. They love having autonomy. They don't need to check in on pieces. Knowing that about yourself and knowing that about what your teammates need is imperative for you to be able to step back. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, this is so unsexy, but we're going to talk about it anyways. You need standard operating procedures. You need to be recording how you do things. So if all of the information around how to run your business is sitting inside your brain, you will never be able to delegate. So getting into the habit of actually recording out the steps to do things is going to be a really important flex in the next era of your business. You can record this on video. You can record looms. Our team uses a program called Process Street, and in Process Street we store all of our SOPs. You can store it in a Google Drive. So it doesn't really matter, but you need to have all of these standard operating procedures outlined. And then lastly, you need to create a really strong description of what your expectations are for the person that you are going to be delegating to. So you're not just going to leave all at once. You're going to lay out a plan for this. And then you really need to be very clear with them. Here's the standard that I expect. Here's the standard that I executed with. Here are the tools that I'm giving you to be able to execute at that standard. And then it is your responsibility to inspect what you expect, as my friend Dan Martell would say. So having a system and a process and an expectation for yourself that you are going to check in on that work so they have confidence and you have confidence that they are doing it correct are going to be the steps to start to offload. And it feels like a lot, but honestly, if you get started with that process and that system and you're always deploying the same system of offloading, you'll find that you can do it efficiently and your team knows what that process looks and feels like as well. And you will just endlessly be moving things off of your plate and onto theirs.